pleasant good evening from Soccer County tonight, where we bring you a key tussle around the playoff line in USL League One. Westchester hosts AC Boise, and tonight's match is presented by Northwell Health. We say hello from the stadium at Memorial Field alongside the former Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey. I'm Sam Goldfarb. Here's your look at the League One table. AC Boise just inside the top 8 as things currently stand. Meanwhile, for Westchester, they are 7 points south of the playoff line. They are desperate for 3 points here. And Gary, at home, it's been a bit of a fortress for Westchester this season. The issue is the form hasn't traveled.
It certainly doesn't. Look at that. 7 losses out of 7, just 3 goals. And it's almost the reverse at home. 20 goals scored and just 7 conceded. And coach George Jakai just talking about perhaps a lack of moral fiber when they go on the road. Something that still can be put right for the rest of the season.
Well, the good news tonight is they're at home, and a big part of their success at home is tonight's player to watch in Connor McGlynn, someone who's in the thick of the Golden Boot race at the moment. 8
goals he scored, quite a few from the penalty spot, but he's a good striker of the ball, great to have on the edge of the box. He's a captain and leader of the side as well, so when he's playing well at home, guaranteed the rest of the team follow.
On the other end of things, it's been a mixed bag for Boise of late. You look at their form in the last 5, very up and down at the moment.
Well, they've got some good strikers, Moshe Baum being one of them. They can score plenty of goals, and they've got the ability. How about that for a strike with the left foot from Moshe Baum? But as you say, it needs to be consistent and to be every game.
Nate Miller mentioning that they're hoping to be a little more consistent on the defensive side of things. That's the big point of emphasis for them. But as you mentioned, a number of players that can score. Dennis Kostishin is at the top of the scouting report.
Yeah, 5 goals this season from the 28-year-old. He's had 26 shots, which is 8th in USL League One. So he is proactive. He is looking to score. He's got the ability. Only question is, can he produce it here tonight?
He had a pair of goals the last time these two sides met. Well, we are just about ready for kickoff in this key tussle in USL League One, a second and final meeting of the year between Westchester and AC Boise. Stick with us, lineups and kickoff when we return.
Eligible for Medicare? Here's a great new reason to be happy. You may qualify for money-saving programs that could lower your Medicare costs. Just talk to a Health First specialist about programs like Extra Help, Epic, and more. To learn how New Yorkers like you can save, call 1-844-434-6399. Health First Medicare Advantage Plans, where healthy starts.
Come on, get happy.
Raising health means elevating the care that we can get in our backyard. The Westchester Soccer Club is part of the United Soccer League that has now expanded into Westchester.
It's a brand new USL One team competing all across the country, bringing the love for the sport of soccer to the area.
Northwell is going to provide them the best care possible, going to the games, making sure that we're on site for each home game. If an injury pops up, we get those players in immediately.
The partnership between the Westchester Soccer Club and Northwell Health is very exciting.
Northwell's vision is to raise health, so we offer the full gamut of orthopedic services, serving the community in Westchester. That's where my family lives, that's where I live, and that's my purpose here.
We welcome you back to Westchester County, where we are just about set for kickoff in this tussle between Westchester and AC Boise. And now it's time for tonight's starting lineups, which are presented by RXR Realty, Westchester Soccer Club's first choice for housing solutions. Gary.
One change to the team that lost against Chattanooga. Erman Makic comes in up front for Kun Blumstein, who drops to the bench. It's a 3-4-3 shape, and the aim is vertical transitions for the likes of Miguel Diaz and Erman Makic up front.
On the other end of things for AC Boise, 3 changes from Thursday night's defeat against the defending champs.
In comes Musa Nye, Keegan Euler and Omar Yeye. Out to the bench go Nick Moon, Philip Nyaka and Thomas Imang in a 4-3-3 shape, and they need Tumi Moshaban and Dennis Kostashin in particular to use their skills and experience to lead that attack.
Well, it is a pair of sides looking to build momentum around the halfway point of the league season. AC Boise has been through their ups and downs. They take on a Westchester side that has only managed to win at home. We'll see who can pick up the points and surge up the table. Our lead official tonight is Stephen Foster. He presides over all of the action here. It is Boise from right to left on your screen, Westchester from left to right. And we just await our referee signal to get everything underway here. And we are underway. It is Boise looking to establish a cushion inside the top 8. It is Westchester looking to make inroads and shrink that 7-point gap between themselves and the playoff line. Sam Goldfarb alongside the former Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey. Gary, the last fixture between these teams, dominant for Boise, but Westchester, simply put, is a different team at home.
It's amazing how different they are at home, but they got beat 4-0 earlier in the season. In fact, that was Boise's biggest win of the year, so revenge very much, I'm sure, in Westchester's thoughts, especially, as you say, playing at home where they have such a fantastic record. Last couple of matches, a 5-1 win and a 4-0 loss, and yet on the road, it's a 60-match run without a single win. I don't think you can get a bigger contrast home and away than Westchester at the moment.
It's the ultimate Jekyll and Hyde story, if you will. A Westchester side that has not managed to win away from home since mid-June of last year. That came at Forward Madison in a 2-1 come-from-behind result. Since then, the only victories have come at the stadium at Memorial Field, which is interesting because last season they didn't manage their first on-pitch home victory until around late September. So it is a remarkable turnaround in form and such.
And it's something that concerns Coach George Chakai. When we spoke to him, he said, we have a mental fatigue when we hit the road, and it's something we've got to get right. Because if you're relying only on home form, it gets very, very difficult to make the playoffs. And if you do, you're going to be on the road, because the assumption is you'll just make them, in which case you're going to go out. So you've got to get some form on the road at some stage.
Well, Pierre commits the foul there, and an early free kick for Boise. There's your look at George Jokai, his first season at the helm of Westchester. He's mentioned there's been some frustration with tactical lapses, mental errors that have cost them big results. And in that Chattanooga match, he said analytically it was one of their worst performances of the season on Wednesday night. So they're at the point now where they need to turn things around and in a hurry. Otherwise, it may be another season that ends before November. It's Dominic Gasso who stands over this set piece for Boise. It's arced into the mix, headed goalward. Marinelli came off his line but didn't pay the price, and it is just a goal kick. Well, fans, it's time for our keys to the game presented by Health First.
As far as Westchester are concerned, get Max Jennings high up the pitch. He's been part of the last 4 goal contributions in the last 5 games, so been very much part of whatever success they've had. So they need to get him high up and causing problems. And then for Boise, just watch out for transitions from Westchester. They're a very direct team, very vertical team. And of course, from Nate Miller's point of view, he wants them to be aware the whole time if they lose the ball, how quick are Westchester going to attack, and can they pick up the runners?
It is a Westchester team that is so dangerous in transition. In terms of our injury report presented by Northwell Health, none officially reported for Westchester. For Boise, it's a major slate of injuries. Blake Bonnelly remains out, as does Charlie Adams, and Nick Moon is on the bench today. So there is a number of obstacles Nate Miller's men are dealing with. So there's an early throw here for Westchester.
Blake Bodley in particular is a big miss for them. He's done really well this season. And Charlie Adams, so much experience from USL Championship. So I think any team would be worse off for not having those two players available.
A big theme with this Boise team is the sheer number of players with USL Championship experience. You mentioned Bodley and Adams, not to mention Nick Moon, and then Tumi Moshaban is someone that played under Nate Miller for years. He's brought in a number of his former players from his San Diego Loyal days in particular. Then he's built a squad out of it, and he said he just has established a real trust with a lot of those lads. It's helped him feel confident in the type of personnel he has on the pitch.
Thomas Among is another one. I think there was a San Diego Loyal.
You are correct. San Diego Loyal and Lansing Ignite during his stops in League One and Championship, Nate Miller. He's built relationships that have continued on since. Here's Jennings' first touch. Big player to watch for you, Gary.
He's got so much ability, Max Jennings, good pedigree, and as we say, he's been involved in 4 goal contributions in the last 5 games, and you want that sort of player who's on form to be up in attack, and he'll be feeling it because of the success he's had in those games, and you want to feed off that if you're the rest of the players.
Especially at home, Max Jennings particularly successful. Trio of assists, goal contributions coming in 4 straight, up through June 24th before a quieter game on Wednesday night. This is given away cheaply by Inye. Here's Evans. Makic has a hit, rather tame in the end, and just a goal kick. He starts up front, Erman Makic today, someone who's shown a capacity to play in the 10 up front as well, and George Chokai raves about him. Says the work rate is exceptionally high, and on raw talent alone, one of the best players in the squad. Gasso. Ricketts. One of the many Boise players with championship experience. Dangler sprays it long, and Kostashin chasing after it. Flag stays down. Kostashin's cross, stabbed away by Tim Timchenko. And as far as Ricketts, though, it's another decent ball in, and it is Boise's first corner of the night.
2 very good balls into the box, asking questions from the defense of Westchester, and Bobby Pierre and Tim Timchenko dealing with those crosses, but a little bit too much time on the ball out wide, time to pick the cross, and something that they maybe need to tighten up there, Westchester, at that left wing back position.
Well, corner kicks tonight presented by Ice Air. Ice Air keeping Westchester cool and comfortable. Is Dominic Gasso who will take it for Boise. Boise scored their opener in the last meeting against Westchester from a corner on April 18th. Part of a 4-0 drubbing. Gasso without swing. It's dangerous. It was headed on by Yarrow, but outside the reach of Marinelli's goal.
And that 4-0 match, wasn't that the match where Dennis Kostashin stuck one right in the top corner for the 3rd goal? What a strike that was.
He had a brace and an assist in that fixture,
Wow.
Dennis Kostashin. He was remarkable. Earned League One's Week 7 Player of the Week nod for that performance. Yeah, gives this away, and the referee will come back to that. Whistle sounds against Bobby Pierre there.
Let's have a look and just see what contact there was. It looked like a fair tackle. Initially, the player there just loses control of the ball. It's not really on the defender there, Omar, losing control, and it just seemed like a fair tackle to win the ball, but nonetheless we get the advantage of seeing it a second time, and referee doesn't, so Stephen Foster calling it a foul in real time, and it's a good position from that angle. Whip that in quickly and get runners in the box, and who knows what might happen.
And Dennis Kostashin stands over it. Dominic Gasso in the vicinity as well. Plenty to weather here for Westchester. Kostashin right into the wall that time. And the second cross out for a corner.
talking about a home ground advantage for Westchester with all these lines all over the pitch. I think it's something, if you're used to playing on it, it's a lot easier. If you're not, it might be a little bit confusing for visiting teams.
I'm not sure a lot of teams know which is the penalty box.
Which is quite important to know.
This comes in, Dangler over the bar.
It's not just lines, there's all sorts of pictures on that pitch. Here we get to see a little close-up of the pushing and shoving in the box and positioning. I mean, that's not bad for a big centre back. That's not a bad attempt to get that shot on target.
And to your point, there are other lines on the pitch. There's lacrosse lines.
Aha, that's what all those the circles are in the middle.
For lacrosse nets. Yeah. It's a 3,900 seat stadium at the stadium at Memorial Field in Mount Vernon, New York. It's a very historic venue as well in Westchester County. It's best known for the famous Mean Joe Green Coca-Cola ad, which was shot here. So we talked to George Jokai this week, and he mentioned how it was really frustrating against Chattanooga last weekend. 2-0 defeat on Wednesday, in which they fell behind on a Tim Timchenko own goal and then a free kick dagger later on. He said to us he feels it was one of the worst performances from his bunch this year, and there was some real frustration when we spoke to him about the last 2 weeks in the wake of those dominant victories over Greenville and Portland on this ground.
He was referring to some of the data, and they only had one shot on target the entire match, did Westchester, and he just felt that wasn't enough. The expected goals was 0.51, half a goal. Just said all in all, you know, you're not going to win games if your data's that poor.
Long throw comes in here. Pierre first to it. Here's Bauman, who was fouled in the process.
Now for Nate Miller, it was a little bit of a different story in their last match at home to 1 Knoxville. They had a better XG. They had more touches, in double the touches in the opposition box. So in theory, they should have won it, but it was a goalkeeper error. Jonathan Cleaver coming for a cross and dropping it, and that was the equalizer. And then while they were pushing for the winner, Boise at home, Teddy Baker popped up for 1 Knoxville and banged one in from 25 yards. And even then, Moshaban had a great chance through one-on-one with the keeper and missed it. It was more of a frustrating game for Nate Miller. They should have got more out of that loss at home to Knoxville, at least a draw. For George Jokai, it was just, in his sort of view, just a very, very bad day at the office.
He said to us that just generally throughout the season, the data suggests they should have 6 or 7 more points than they actually do. He's mentioned that goalkeeping has been a bit of an up and down struggle so far. They opened the year with Joseph Ndema between the sticks, made the pivot to Cleaver in mid-April, who hasn't relinquished the starting role since. But to your point, it was that key miscue that led to the equalizer, and he was not shy to point that out with us as you get your first look at Nate Miller, someone who's been so successful wherever he's gone, best known for his time with San Diego Loyal, but of course most recently in the MLS side of things with Real Salt Lake as an assistant coach. He's someone with very high pedigree, and he believes that this Boise project has a lot of potential. As this ice air corner kick goes Westchester's way, it is Noah Powder standing over it. It's taken short. Now Powder clips it in. It's dipping towards the back post. Pierre was held, but our referee was unmoved. Well, fans, watch the USL on ESPN2 July 11th for Prinks Tires USL Cup Interleague matchup. Championship club San Antonio FC looks to clinch Group 3 with a win over League One opponent Chattanooga Red Wolves SC, determined to spoil the party Saturday, July 11th at 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Gasso. Euler loses out to Jennings there. Here's Bauman venturing forward into midfield, and he's upended here. Match's first yellow card shown to Dominic Gasso.
I think they're just asking the referee for a bit of leniency there, suggesting that maybe it wasn't that bad and it's early on in the game. Not great to be on a yellow card with most of the game still to come. It was late, it was a trip. Didn't see any nastiness in it, so it's one of those grey areas where as a referee you're not wrong to give the yellow card, but had he given a warning and is consistent from then onwards, then it would also have been acceptable. Either way, Dominic Gasso now has to pick and choose every tackle and make sure he doesn't get another yellow card, otherwise he's off.
Well, it is a makeshift midfield today as well, because Gasso's more of a reserve, not to mention Musa Enya has bounced between center back and defensive mid all season long. So without Philip Mayaka, there is that lack of a stabilizing force there tonight.
They do have him as an option off the bench, Nick Moon as well. So maybe just a bit of rotation, rest some legs.
Did of course play on Thursday, so too much space between these two matches as that cross sails long.
But concerned again, Jonathan Cleaver, who we just mentioned was at fault for the cross that he dropped in the previous match, comes for a cross there and then decides not to come, and a little bit of confusion. Fortunately for him, there's no striker behind.
You know the art of goalkeeping much better than me, but when we were talking to Nate Miller about the Cleaver miscue that led to the equalizer, he said sometimes he just makes his mind up too soon, almost predetermines whether he's going to come off his line or not.
Well, that's half the battle is the decision, but if you do come, even if it's the wrong decision, you've got to get a punch in it. He tried to catch the ball under all sorts of pressure and dropped it. So, yes, if you come and you think, oh, hang on a second, this is not ideal for me, but there's bodies in front, you have to go through the bodies and punch the ball, and he didn't manage to do that. So, not picking on Jonathan Cleaver there, but just, you know, he's a good goalkeeper. And if you tighten up on the crosses, he could go on to have a wonderful season. So I hope for his sake, anyway, he is able to deal with the crosses from now on.
He is someone that is incredibly talented. The phrase Nate Miller used with us earlier in the year was MLS-level shot-stopping ability. That has been flashed on occasion. This is Bauman for Westchester. Now Jennings. Evans. Kyle Evans is someone who's one of the more talented players on this Westchester squad. Here's Jennings. Ran out of real estate on the near side.
Commentator's curse sets him get high up the pitch there as one of the keys. He could cause trouble. He does so well, gets himself in a great position, and then just virtually trips over the ball. But that's the position you want him in. And he does so well to make it all happen. Unfortunately for him, just things go wrong at the last moment.
The word that George Jokai used to describe him was relentless. He loves his constant energy, and in this three-back type shape, which they've shifted to of late, he has a little more freedom to roam forward than he did early in the season. There's Enyep. Kostishin coming deep to claim now. There's your first proper look at Luca Marinelli, someone who's made the #1 spot his own between the sticks for Westchester. 22-year-old out of Milford, Connecticut, who signed with the club initially on a 25-day contract at the end of April. George Jokai has mentioned he loves his instincts as a goalkeeper, is a little undersized, so that's given him problems at times. But we were talking about it before we got on air tonight. He's been so effective. Andrew Hammersley hasn't been able to get back in the team.
He has done well, but I think what he'd love to do is get more clean sheets. Just 1 in 8 league matches and 2 cup matches. And as a goalkeeper, you want your defense to be tight because you have to marshal your defense. You want those clean sheets and be able to point to them as a job well done. So I'm sure that Luca Marinelli here tonight is really hoping that that 0 remains there on Boise's side.
Only clean sheet he kept was June 14th against Greenville. That a 4-0 victory in which they were up a man for the entirety of the second half after Amal Knight was sent off with one of the most bizarre red cards you'll see all year. Kicked Bobby Pierre on a corner. Well, fans, turn to CBS on Saturday, July 18th for USL Championship Eastern Conference Showdown. Last season's champion Pittsburgh Riverhounds SC goes head-to-head with the 2025 Players' Shield winner, Louisville City FC, in a must-watch match of the summer. Two elite clubs, one massive stage. Don't miss a minute of the action on CBS at noon Eastern on July 18th. Just shy of 20 minutes gone here. Nothing to separate Boise and Westchester just yet. Mo Shaban is looking to change that. Kostashin has a hit. Can't ricochet it through the bevy of blue shirts. Cleared only as far as Degler. Oh, it is a Boise side that likes to possess the ball. It does feel like they have yet to truly be incisive on it, though.
Yeah, slight different in styles. Boise more controlling the ball. Westchester, certainly in previous matches, slightly more vertical, looking for the long ball over the top on occasions.
Especially here as well. It feels like that verticality has been more effective for Westchester. I mean, in all honesty, it feels like almost everything's been more effective for Westchester at home, as we showed you those numbers off the top. 20 of their 23 league goals coming in the friendly confines of the stadium at Memorial Field.
Yeah, unbeaten in the last 6, 4 wins and 2 draws at home, so clearly they feel very comfortable. And I'm sure George Jakai will wish they could play every game here, because that road record is so bad. And it's frustrating for a coach, because you know your players are good enough because they can win at home. So that's not the issue. The issue is the mental attitude, and how do you improve players' mental attitude, their self-belief on the road? Very difficult to do. It's really down to the players themselves to get out there and fight a little bit harder against the elements when they're traveling. And I guess you could say that for Boise. They played a day later this midweek. They played on Thursday. Westchester played on Wednesday, and they had to travel, I believe, a fairly long distance to get up to this New York area. So for Boise, they have to be tough here, mentally tough, and not let all that travel bother them.
It is a Boise side that has only won just once away from home in league play this season, to your point, Gary. So on paper, it does favor Westchester beyond the mere advantage of being on their home soil. So far, though, you have yet to see either team truly ask questions of the opposing goalkeeper.
Yeah, both need these points really badly. You're just mentioning the points on the board a little bit earlier, but Westchester, if they win this, they will go up to just 4 points behind Boise, who hold the last playoff spot. So 4 points is not that far off a playoff position. 7 is still quite a lot, so it's a massive 3 points for Westchester. And for Boise, just 2 wins in the last 8 games. You've got to turn that around, and a win on the road here just push them up right up the table into 4th spot alongside Fort Wayne and AV Alta on 24 points, and that'll be massive for them. So for both sides, it's a 3 points here today just changes their outlook in a big way.
Nate Miller himself mentioned he knows that they're not flying at the moment. There are alterations they can make. He says sometimes when the chances aren't hitting the back of the net like he'd hope, they need to tighten up and be stingier defensively. This is a team in Boise that currently ranks just 11th in the league with 23 goals allowed. It's a team that also has been hit for a number of goals of late away from home. So it's a massive point of emphasis for Boise, is tightening up and becoming a clean sheet team when the goals aren't flowing in thick and fast.
I think it's true for both teams. They both scored over 20 goals. They both conceded over 20 goals. So both will probably point to some good, decent level of success in scoring and issues in defending.
Evans has won this backup field for Westchester and has support. He plays it forward. Makic with a chance. Always rising. Oh, there is the first real chance of the match for either side, Gary.
It was, and I'm not saying he should score from there, but I'd like to see him at least hit target, make the goalkeeper work. Was the ball bouncing a little bit? It does on that turf. It can do. Nonetheless, you've got to get over that ball, keep it down, and use the turf to your advantage. Bounce it onto the turf, let it skip up, and see if Jonathan Cleaver can read that bounce.
Mo Shaban was offside. But by this point, the last time these two teams met, Boise was 2-0 in front. Oshaban and Kostashin both struck inside the opening 25 minutes. And from there, Boise cruised. Tonight, it's been a different story. George Jokai saying that that match was one of the few where he felt they tactically were not up to speed this season. Here tonight, they've seemed to match their intensity and rhythm thus far. Jennings charging ahead. Jennings over the bar. Westchester's press starting to pay real dividends.
It's so good from Jennings, so dangerous down that right-hand side. And again, just asking questions, but got to keep it lower. Always in teaching strikers to shoot, it's get over the ball, keep it down. Once it goes over the crossbar, clearly nothing for the goalkeeper to do, but you keep it low. The goalkeeper might push it out, he might make the save, he might drop it in front of his striker. There's all sorts of possibilities if you get it on target.
Well, fans, Westchester Soccer Club is excited to partner with Redefined Meals, our go-to destination for fresh, healthy, prepared meals. Scan the QR code on screen for a free meal at Redefined Meals in Hartsdale. Midway through this first half, and nothing to separate Westchester and AC Boise alongside the former Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey. I'm Sam Goldfarb. It's been a cagey one thus far between these two sides, but Westchester starting to create real chances in the counter press.
Well, you mentioned when these two teams last met, there have been 2 goals already, but just to keep Westchester fans happy, when their last match at home, they beat Portland Hearts of Pine 5-1. McGlynn scored in the 27th minute, so they were in exactly the same position, sitting at 0-0.
Yellow card has just been brandished. So we'll see who enters our referee's book for Westchester here. It is Alexi Armas in the book.
Westchester, number 21, Alexei Armas, for the 26th minute.
Again, I'm just not sure if it reaches the threshold of a yellow card. Let's see. There's a little bit of arms here and there from both players. So the referee being quite strict here today, Stephen Foster.
He certainly set the norm that he's going to be no nonsense today, our referee. A chance for a long throw here for Boise. And here's your look at the official, Stephen Foster. Not letting a lot slide today. Could be a tight affair. It is Keegan Euler who will insert this back into play. Long throw into the mix. Flicked away, only as far as Kostashin though. Now pinged forward again. It's not dealt with. Marinelli's out of his net. Just about scrambled out of danger for now. And Evans will buy the time necessary for Westchester here.
On the end, it's a good save from Luca Marinelli. Not sure he had to come out and deal with it. His defenders are there, but he does, and he makes a good block, I think, from Jonathan Ricketts there.
I was going to say, it felt like a problem of his own creation a little bit.
Yeah, I think better off to stay and let the defenders deal with it. But once you come, you've got to effect a save, and that's exactly what Luca Marinelli did.
It's the point you mentioned earlier when we were talking about Cleaver in the Knoxville match, right?
Yeah. Even if you make a decision that might not be the correct one, you've made it, live with it, and then make sure you make the save or get a punch clear of danger.
Diaz has this knocked out of play. Scored in 3 straight prior to Wednesday. Here's another look at the chance.
Ball comes in, it's allowed to bounce, which is dangerous. And the defenders are there. You could see that Max Jennings was there as well to maybe deal with it, but out comes Luca Marinelli with a very good block, very brave block as well. He took that full on the chest, that shot there from Jonathan Ricketts.
He seems encouraged by what he's seen in the last few minutes, Nate Miller. does feel like the type of match where chances may be at a premium, which is in stark contrast to what we saw the last time these two teams met.
Like I say, it's still early days. That 5-1 win against Portland Hearts of Pine, they just scored the first of 5 roundabout now, Westchester, so it could all still happen. And these two teams are well known for leaky defenses and equally well known for good attack.
To your point, Westchester, 9 goals in their last 2 home matches. Since then, just 1 goal in the last 2 games. Away from home. Yep.
I mentioned their road games are not the best for Westchester. Something they have to sort out soon.
Long throw here from Armas. It's flicked along by Makic. Sprayed away for now. Yeah. 25-year-old up front. A rare start for him. If you are Nate Miller in particular, what's your assessment of these opening 30 minutes?
Well, you're away from home. You're settling into difficult conditions with this turf pitch and all the markings. I think he'll be reasonably happy. It's not so for George Jokai. He would have wanted to get off, to your point, get a goal, get ahead, get the crowd fired up, get the players confident and believing in the magic of playing at home where they've had some fantastic results. But I don't think either coach is disappointed in any way. It's just that when you're the traveling side, you're a little bit more happy with a 0-0 situation than the home side would be.
George Jokai also mentioned that they were coming out to win this fixture. He genuinely believes that this is a game where they don't only have to get 3 points, but they can get 3 points. Seemed to be his intent that they would chase it a little more than they have.
And maybe they still will do as the match goes on. Because 7 points behind, if they don't pick up a win here today, we're reaching the halfway stage of the season. You know, suddenly you start to drift a little bit far off, and then you need a fantastic run to make the playoffs, and that's massive pressure. So, yet, of the two teams, certainly for me, Westchester need this win more than Boise do. Although, don't tell Nate Miller I said that.
We'll see how he reacts to that when he watches it back after the game, right? Euler. Yeah. Right now, it just feels like Boise isn't playing with a true 9.
They do have options on the bench that they can bring on to change all of that. Of course, Thomas Among would be the first one that comes to mind. The ability of Nick Moon to get forward, and he has been a goal scorer in recent games. So those are 2 good options that can come off the bench at some stage in the second half.
Kyle Evans was clipped at the heels there.
Good little skills there. And was there a touch on the ball, perhaps just? That maybe is why there was no yellow card.
Now this is sprayed long towards Kyle Evans. And out of play. Well, Fan Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the grassroots to the pros, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. Select, the player's choice. Well, Gary, it's a busy night for you, isn't it? Because you've got this and then the small matter of a match at the Azteca later, right?
Yeah, which I believe has been delayed by an hour already. So might get to see a lot more of it than I was anticipating. Big match for England, very difficult at altitude against what I believe is a very decent Mexico side who, with all that crowd behind them, are going to make it so difficult for England.
Enya has a pop, rockets it right at Pierre. Now falls to Gasso, who rockets it off the crossbar. Well, there is the first glaring chance, and it nearly crept inside Marinelli's goal.
Wow, that is some strike, all of 30 yards or thereabouts out. He has absolutely cracked that Dominique Gasso. It's a long way out. And he's hit it, and it is flown up. Maybe if it was any lower, Luca Marinelli would have got it. had a bit of dip on it as well. The topspin came down very rapidly.
Had some menace in that effort for sure. The first time either side's hit the woodwork thus far. Armas. Westchester maybe with a slight let off there. Evans. McGlynn. Armas. Arced forward towards Makic, but routine for Cleaver. Ticking towards the business end of this first half. We still await one of these two sides to produce a breakthrough. Kostashin wins a throw for Boise. You know, on the subject of the Azteca, you were showing me a video. Did a certain Gary Bailey start between the sticks the last time England played there?
Yeah, I believe so. It was the year before the '86 World Cup when we had a little test of what it would be like to play in Mexico. Unfortunately, we didn't win that game. We lost 1-0, and it wouldn't surprise me if it goes similarly tonight. Just saying, Mexico at home with their crowd, it's very noisy, as I believe the England players found out trying to sleep last night with the noise outside from horns and crowds gathered and police just maybe turning a blind eye to all the problems. So yeah, it certainly is going to be very tough there for England. But when you've got Harry Kane in your side, you're capable of winning almost any match.
He is in the form of his life at the moment as Gasso looks for Kostisch in there. It's read well by Pierre. Well, if you're Westchester, how do you assert yourself a little more in this match?
Well, it's still early. They don't have to take any chances. They're trying. And again, you know, Max Jennings, we mentioned him a few times, getting him forward certainly helps. It might be the day too we'll have to go to the bench to freshen things up. You've got goal scorers like Dean Guzin, who's very, very good. You've got Koen Blomstein, who can bring on as well. They're quality players, both the Netherlands, the Dutch players, Guzin and Blomstein. So they can freshen things up, but no stress at this point. I don't think either coach should be unhappy at 0-0 at halftime, should that be how it does end in 10 minutes' time. But as the match goes on, to your point, Westchester have to start pushing forward more. They are at home, they are desperate for the points, and they have to start making up ground. Matt Miller not happy with that decision.
I don't think the referee's made himself popular with either coach right now.
Whenever does a referee.
Sometimes doing your job is the unpopular thing, right?
Yeah, no, I've tried being a referee and I gave it up very quickly.
Here's Pierre's cross. It was towards Diaz.
Learning the rules is the easy part. Taking the abuse from coaches, players, parents, fans. Oh, it's just not worth it.
And then deciding what warrants yellow or red based on what is said to you. It's an unenviable task.
Yeah, and if you're getting paid $1 million a year, you put up with it, but I don't think they get paid that much. So, you know, kudos to them.
This is well done from Diaz, who was looking for Makic. Cleared only as far as Armas. Now Evans on the turn, has a hit, falls for Connor McGlynn. Crosses it in. Cleared relatively comfortably in the end, though. And now you see them starting to twist the screws more.
Good pressure coming from the home side. Ball bobbling around, a couple of shots blocked. Connor McGlynn was just trying to line something up there and eventually decided to cross it, and there was no one really on the end of it, but they were in the box, they were asking questions, and that's where you want to be if you're the home side.
Well, this is turned over cheaply. Kostashin hit his hand. Golden opportunity to break goes by the wayside there. Powder, Trinidad and Tobago International. They'll win it back as well. Makic in space, now Evans. Evans drives it goalward. Rolls it to Cleaver though. nothing too troublesome for Cleaver just yet.
Yeah, didn't quite connect it, did he? And by the time it got to Cleaver, it was just an easy pickup.
Well, fans, don't miss your chance to be part of the action when Westchester hosts the Cosmos at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, July 22nd. Tickets are on sale now. That one will be a major one, a little New York, New Jersey rivalry between those two clubs. Last time they met in the Prince Tires USL Cup, it made for quite the chaotic spectacle on this very ground. Figure in league play, it will be more of the same. There's an adventurous run from Yarrow, was looking to slip it in. It's a rare foray forward from the center back, Yarrow. Gasso. He cannoned one off the crossbar 10 minutes ago. Cruel, League One veteran, best known for his time with Ford Madison. Mo Shaban. Nate Miller said that he loves Tumi Mo Shaban, not just for his production, but when he's not producing as well. He said that he never hides. Someone who always will take ownership of poor spells of form and ultimately rectify them. And at 31 years of age, someone that still has shown real flashes, as this long-range hit from Kostashin is no trouble for Marinelli.
That's just a second shot on target for Boise. You can't count the crossbar, which I think you should be able to because it's so close to being a goal, but just a one shot on target for Westchester. So the stats suggesting that there's a lot more the home side could and should be doing. And if you look at some more stats, 5 touches in the opposition box for Westchester, 6 for Boise. So once again, Boise slightly better. Expected goals 0.12 for Westchester, which is next to nothing. 0.42 for Boise, which is nearly half a goal. So again, Westchester, the data suggesting that while the eye test might be pleasing in terms of the possession they have, they're just not creating enough good opportunities in and around that Boise box.
In many ways, possibly reminiscent of the Chattanooga fixture to a degree. They have been the protagonist in this, no doubt, at least of late. Bauman, final 5 minutes now of this first half. Diaz has been a revelation since returning from injury a few months back. Now Gasso. Yarrow. He's on loan from St. Louis City in MLS. Nate Miller mentioning that was a little rusty. Hadn't played for the whole season before joining Boise, but his quality is undeniable and has been a regular in the lineup since joining the club on loan. Kostashin floats this forward. Jennings upended. And it's Timchenko who wins the free kick.
We spoke about Westchester being a fairly direct side more than possession-based, but I haven't seen that many long balls over the top. Maybe something worth trying, just to give the likes of Irman Makic something to chase at the top, maybe pick up the second balls and knockdowns for Miguel Diaz as well.
They go direct here. This is Kyle Evans. And now recycling it once more. To your point as well, Luca Marinelli's not been shy about launching long-range distributions in the past. Although here's one from Bauman. He gave Evans something to chase. Cleaver handled it awkwardly. Bauman again.
Even that long ball caused problems. Keeper had to come out, couldn't use his hands. You know, it just puts a little bit of pressure on the defense.
Jennings. McGlynn. Entered the night joint second in the league in goals. Bauman. Evans. Armas. Makic knocks it along to Powder. Now wide for Miguel Diaz, who cuts inside. Away by Dengler. Yaya tries to break the other way. And he's in a foot race with Pierre. It's one that he nearly won. Final minute now of the initial 45. At the moment, we're hearing there won't be any Mar stoppage time. Kostichin. Gasso. His long-range hit off the crossbar was the standout moment of the first half. It's likely Boise's final foray forward of the initial 45. Ricketts loses out. And there's the halftime whistle. Well, Gary, cagey opening 45 minutes, but you saw Westchester start to gain control as it wore on.
A little bit around the box, as well as being a bit more direct, and that brought them some joy. As you mentioned, the big moment was Dominic Gasso's 30-yard shot that thumped against the crossbar. Lots of hard work and commitment from both sides, but nothing special in that box as yet. However, second half, I think this game's going to come to life.
As things stand, nothing to separate these two sides in this six-pointer around the playoff line. Westchester and Boise knotted at 0-0 at intermission. But as you mentioned, a real chance for this to pop off in the second. Stick with us when we return a look around USL League One. We'll be right back here from Westchester County.
At Redefined Meals, we're not just making prepared meals. We're redefining them and raising the bar for what they can be.
Every dish begins with real ingredients, crafted fresh each day, redefining what real cooking means for busy lives.
Discover over 70 chef-crafted meals, freshly made, thoughtfully balanced, and surprisingly affordable.
Good food shouldn't slow you down. It should keep you going. No prep, no stress.
Redefine the way you dine.
Eligible for Medicare? Here's a great new reason to be happy. You may qualify for money-saving programs that could lower your Medicare costs. Just talk to a Health First specialist about programs like Extra Help, Epic, and more. To learn how New Yorkers like you can save, call 1-844-434-6399. Health First Medicare Advantage Plans, where healthy starts.
Come on, get happy.
Raising health means elevating the care that we can get in our backyard. The Westchester Soccer Club is part of the United Soccer League that has now expanded into Westchester.
It's a brand new USL One team competing all across the country, bringing the love for the sport of soccer to the area.
Northwell is going to provide them the best care possible, going to the games, making sure that we're on site for each home game. If an injury pops up, we get those players in immediately.
The partnership between the Westchester Soccer Club and Northwell Health is very exciting.
Northwell's vision is to raise health. So we offer the full gamut of orthopedic services, serving the community in Westchester. That's where my family lives, that's where I live, and that's my purpose here.
We welcome you back to Westchester County, where at halftime there's no score between Westchester and AC Boise in this USL League One battle. And as we get a look inside USL League One, let's take a look at our halftime update. Dan Lucas has more.
It is halftime in League One. Time to get you caught up on the headlines this week. I'm Dan Lucas inside the USL studio. Charlotte Independence set up an amazing group stage finale in the Prinks Tires USL Cup with its 1-0 win over Greenville Triumph. Charlotte is tied with Charleston Battery atop the Group 6 standings with a head-to-head matchup against the Battery in round 4. 3 more League One clubs with a shot to advance to the quarterfinals are Spokane Velocity, AC Boise, and Union Omaha. AV Alta drew 0-0 with Corpus Christi last week, extending its unbeaten run in League One to 9 matches heading into this week. During that stretch, AV Alta has allowed just 4 goals with 5 shutouts. Now, in that game against AV Alta, Corpus Christi head coach Ayman Zayed worked his 101st League One match. Zayed has won 44% of those matches, giving him the best winning percentage of all coaches to reach 100 matches in League One. Upcoming national spotlight games in League One and the Championship. Saturday the 11th, USL Cup finale between San Antonio and Chattanooga on ESPN2. Then a pair of matches on CBS Sports Network, Sporting Jackson Pittsburgh on the 15th, followed by AC Boise and Portland on the 17th. Then the big one on CBS Saturday the 18th, Pittsburgh hosting Louisville City. This is the USL Halftime Update. Let's get you back out to your match. He is the USL Championship player that took the World Cup by storm. Miami FC goalkeeper Eloy Room made history with his 15-save performance in Curaçao's scoreless draw with heavily favored Ecuador. A World Cup record in a 90-minute match. The reaction went viral. A worldwide cheer for a team's success despite the odds. But there are 2 coaches in South Florida that saw it coming.
I'm surprised because I know what is the level in the World Cup, but also I know Eloy, I see every day, so I know the level.
Christian Blanco is Miami FC's goalkeeper coach. His specialty is developing younger players, but Room is different. He is a 37-year-old veteran who played nearly 200 matches in the top Dutch league. A wealth of knowledge, even for a coach. Where does Eloy stand in all of the players you've worked with in your career, and how neat is this to be a part of this?
It's my first experience with the World Cup, man, you know. And for me, I'm so happy for that. It's a big challenge for me in the beginning, to right now. So I try to enjoy every training, every single moment, because I try to teach something to Eloy, but he teach me a lot too.
He's capable of directing everybody from behind, and not only on the field, also off the field.
Room is one of the shutout leaders in the USL Championship with 4. He is a big reason Miami is in the playoff conversation at the midway point of the season. A World Cup interruption is an honor. For now.
We are super happy for his performances in the World Cup, but we are super happy as well to have him back as soon as possible.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Trusted for over 100 years, our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
¡Espectacular! ¡Hay mucha fiesta, señor Martino! ¡Hay sed de revancha, doctor! ¡Pero falta gol! ¡Estamos a esperar a Hugo! ¿Hugo Sánchez? Sí, tira para adelante. ¿Quién maneja? ¿Un futbolista? ¡Súbete! ¡Llegamos por fin! ¡Ay, bendito sea el chapar, doctor! Hugo, ¿regreso a las canchas? ¿Algún consejo?
Sí, confía y cree en ti.
¡Ey! ¡Pasa al norte! A donde me dé la oportunidad, pero listo para dar el paso. ¡Listo, vámonos!
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
300. That's about how many events the Community Police Relations Foundation has done in just the last year.
Tens of thousands of positive interactions between law enforcement and the communities they serve. We exist to break down barriers, to humanize the badge, to foster trust, understanding, and lasting relationships. It's changing how communities see the uniform every single day. Together, we can redefine the story and turn 300 moments of connection into tomorrow's 3,000.
We welcome you back to Westchester County, where at halftime there is no score in this League One battle between Westchester SC and AC Boise. And now it's time to continue our look around League One with our halftime scoreboard segment. Here from Westchester, a number of standout results, starting with Portland's come from behind victory on Friday night over FC Naples, and then as you head later through the weekend, Fort Wayne dominating reigning runners-up Spokane Velocity last night. On top of that, you look at the upcoming schedule in the league and a number of fixtures to keep your eye on in the midweek, starting with Greenville against Sarasota, and then the Cosmos will host FC Naples. Well, that is your look at the upcoming fixtures in League One. In this one, as things stand, nothing to separate the two teams. We'll step aside briefly when we return, a look back at the first half that was from Westchester. Stick with us. We will be back on the other side of this break.
At Redefine Meals, we're not just making prepared meals. We're redefining them and raising the bar for what they can be.
Every dish begins with real ingredients, crafted fresh each day, redefining what real cooking means for busy lives.
Discover over 70 chef-crafted meals, freshly made, thoughtfully balanced, and surprisingly affordable.
Good food shouldn't slow you down. It should keep you going. No prep, no stress.
Redefine the way you dine.
Eligible for Medicare? Here's a great new reason to be happy. You may qualify for money-saving programs that could lower your Medicare costs. Just talk to a Health First specialist about programs like Extra Help, Epic, and more. To learn how New Yorkers like you can save, call 1-844-434-6399. Health First Medicare Advantage Plans, where healthy starts.
Come on, get happy.
300. That's about how many events the Community Police Relations Foundation has done in just the last year.
Tens of thousands of positive interactions between law enforcement and the communities they serve. We exist to break down barriers, to humanize the badge, to foster trust, understanding, and lasting relationships. It's changing how communities see the uniform every single day. Together, we can redefine the story and turn 300 moments of connection into tomorrow's 3,000.
Welcome back to Westchester County, where at halftime there is no score between Westchester SC and Athletic Club Boise. And now it's time to get a look back at our first half highlights. Gary, a relatively cagey first half, but some chances both ways.
Yeah, a few little half chances here and there. This is Boise on the attack. Ball comes up and it's the big man at the back, Jake Dengler, who gets a foot, and it does really well for a centre-back who just can't keep the ball down.
In 25 minutes, Westchester started to create some chances off the counter press as well.
Max Jennings getting through in a great position and just gets it over, just gets under the ball, goes over the bar, doesn't really test the keeper.
3 minutes later, the big moment of the first half occurred, though. Gasso cannoning one off the crossbar after this chance for Ricketts.
He does well here, Luca Marinelli, having come for the ball, which I don't think was his. He then is very brave to make that block from Jonathan Ricketts.
And then you see the long-range hit.
Wow, what a strike. I mentioned 30 yards or thereabouts. He's hit that beautifully. Takes a bit of a deflection, which is why it dips so much, but so unlucky not to score.
You look at the halftime stats. On paper, it seems Boise's had the better of it, but only 3 combined shots on goal that entire first half.
Yeah, there isn't much between them, to be honest. Expected goals, 0.2 for the home side, 0.44 for Boise. So, yeah, Athletic Club Boise maybe slightly better off. If you're looking at chances, they could have scored with the one that hit the crossbar, and that's the only real big chance of the first half. So in that sense, yeah, they probably just shaded, but now it's all down to what happens in that second 45 minutes coming up.
Well, a major inflection point for both these teams potentially in the next 45. You look at the live table, this would be enough to knife the gap between Westchester and the playoff line. Actually, it would not knife it. It would keep it at 7 points because Boise would also pick up a point in the table. So it is important. You yourself said it. A 7-point gap around the midway point feels a lot larger than 4, especially if they can pull off 3 points against Boise here.
Well, you're, virtually halfway through the season, you start falling. If you remain 7 points off, or should Boise go on and win, the gap's even bigger. And then you've got to still take on fantastic teams and try and get points off them. You're not playing well on the road, picking up nothing. So it's actually a bigger sort of 45 minutes coming up than most teams have to face. I think for Westchester, it could be a season-defining 45 minutes. That's how much they need these 3 points on their home turf, where they've had some great results.
It does feel psychologically massive here. We'll see how they cope with that over the course of the final 45 minutes and change. We just await Stephen Foster's signal to get everything back underway. Westchester now from right to left, Boise from left to right. Will it be Westchester making a major statement and kickstarting a potential playoff push? Or will it be Boise snatching control of the fixture and climbing toward the top 4? Find out over the course of this second half. Sam Goldfarb alongside the former Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey. Was a relatively tightly contested first half, and now still all to play for.
It certainly is. I mean, Boise, they'll feel they're in a good position to pick up a point, maybe all 3. They probably feel they've taken the sting out of the home ground and the home crowd, and now it's very much an even game, whereas to start with, you always fancy the home crowd first 10-15 minutes, could be on the front foot.
Here we're no changes, so it's the same teams that trotted out to begin the day. Here's Kostashin, seen his influence muted more. Carry this forward though. Now Ricketts with space to cross, and goes out of play for just a throw. Should be another long throw courtesy of Ricketts. We'll fling it to Yarrow. Kostashin turns past Pierre. It's a decent ball, but Marinelli reads it the whole entire way.
Kostashin just trying to find Moshaban, Tumi Moshaban, and those are 2 players that were very quiet in the first half. And if Boise are going to pick up 3 points, you would think they need to do a little bit more. And they're 2 very good players, and especially Moshaban, with all his experience, 31 years of age, he's got to be leading that line and having more of an impact than he did in that first half.
Quiet and surprisingly so, because the last time these 2 teams met, obviously 2.5 months ago, both of them had a major impact on the result, especially in the first half, as Makic looks in behind for Diaz, and Yarrow is there first. Well, fans, soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site. SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. For those that are just joining us, we welcome you into the stadium at Memorial Field. Gary Bailey, Sam Goldfarb on hand. No score between Boise and Westchester at the moment. Ricketts is surging forward with an intent to change that, though. And Pierre makes himself an obstacle. Moshaban. Euler. Works this into the mix, but it's right at Marinelli.
not the best cross. I don't know if it took a deflection, but certainly went straight to the goalkeeper. Plus, had a lot of time on it, which even if it's plopped 6-8 yards out, it's time for the keeper to come and fetch it. I think you've got to whip those balls in. Don't give defenders much time to react.
Keegan Euler, the 23-year-old out of Idaho. Now it's turned over. Another chance here for Boise, and Gasso's effort blocked away at the source. Diaz is fouled by what appears to be Kostashin.
Good first couple of minutes here from Boise. They've been positive on the front foot. We've seen more of Moshaban and Kostashin than we saw probably in the whole of the first half. So maybe Nate Miller in picture there's had a quiet word with them and said, right, this is time for you two to get more involved and try and dominate a bit.
With how animated he's been on the touchline tonight, I don't know if a quiet word with him exists.
It's a term of expression. When you get in the locker room, very rarely is there quiet words.
Either way, they've definitely come out with the wind in their sails. So whatever he said has at least had an impact.
Although when you speak to coaches these days, they do say that you can't deal with players the way that you might have done in the past, where shouting and screaming was allowed. Nowadays you have to be a little bit more pleasant and getting the point of view across, a little bit more inspirational, appeal to the nature, the good-natured players, good-natured side of the players rather, to perform. Back in the day it was a little bit different, and my former manager Sir Alex Ferguson was renowned for throwing teacups at the wall followed by the teapot and screaming and shouting, which back in the day was allowed, and it had an effect, positive effect.
Here's Diaz. I was just about to reference your experience with Alex Ferguson. Cross in from Powder. Effort from McGlynn was blocked.
There's that famous story of David Beckham getting a cut in his forehead from Sir Alex Ferguson kicking his boot, his cleat, right into his head in anger at half-time, and it actually cut him on the head. It wasn't a big cut, it was just a small little nick, but the point being that he was, you know, kicking things around and really just trying to rile the team up to go out and have a much better second half. And given the rate of success Alex Ferguson had, it worked.
Yeah, fair few trophies in his locker.
Yeah, just a few.
Moshaban. Cruel. And yeah, right at Marinelli.
Good reading of the ball there from Marinelli, good hands. You mentioned he doesn't necessarily have the height benefit of some of the taller goalkeepers, but if you get your timing right and you read it well, then you should be able to dominate the air.
This floated forward towards Diaz and headed back to Cleaver. Yeah. Driving at Pierre and has options with him. Cuts inside, arcs it over. First real chance for Omar Yaya, and it goes by the wayside.
He does so well to create the opportunity here, driving at the touchline, cuts back there brilliantly. He's got time now, and he gets the ball over the bar, which we've seen a lot of from the strikers here this evening. Got to get over the ball. He's done the hard work, he's got time, he doesn't have a defender on him. He should be more accurate from there under those circumstances.
Well, it was a real opportunity for Yaya to make an impact. And it still remains 0-0. Yaya has yet to open his professional account with Boise. McGlynn. Diaz. Charging at Yarrow. It's a Travella cross, and it's cleared by Dengler. Out for a Westchester throw.
Got some clever feet, Miguel Diaz, the Peruvian. Even there, he hits it with the outside of his foot. He does things that you don't expect, and sometimes that can catch defenders out.
He's known for his ability at finding the half spaces. George Jokai talked a lot about that this week. His knack for finding soft spots in the defense and making teams pay. It's a long throw here for Armas. Flick to Long. Runs all the way through though. Evans gives this away. It's a late tackle on Moshe Bon and shown the yellow card instantly.
But he was arguing there, Carl Evans, that he got the ball. If he had of it, wouldn't have been a yellow card, so I can only assume he misses. Let's have a look. I think he catches the player first before he gets to the ball. Yeah, in that view, the referee is spot on. Just catches Moshe Bon there.
First Westchester player other than Alexi Armas in the book so far. I felt like he had to commit that challenge, otherwise there'd be numbers streaming forward for Boise. Ricketts may have lost his bearings there. You were talking about how Westchester being more familiar with not just the surface, but the positioning of the lines is more of an advantage than people think.
I would assume so. I've never played on pitches with these lines. So obviously you wouldn't get them in Europe, in England. So it's a bit new to me, but just logic would tell you that the home side must be more comfortable with where the lines are and what they mean. And if you're playing away from home, it's the turf as well, which is different to grass. It's all these lines, and this is a white line there. I could easily get mixed up between the white line and the yellow line being the edge of the box, and so that surely has to be an advantage for Westchester.
Tell me Old Trafford didn't have American football lines on it at any time?
I hate to break your heart, but it didn't. In fact, you weren't allowed on that pitch. You weren't, no curtain raisers, nothing. It was hallowed ground, and besides which, in the reign of Manchester, it cut up really badly back in the day. So no one was allowed anywhere near it before the first team played.
This pitch has been used by a number of different entities, including Westchester. It's been the home of Westchester SC since they began their existence as a club ahead of last season. Well, fans can't watch the match, turn on Sirius XM 157, North America's only 24/7 soccer station for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights. Plus hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
You get to hear Mike Watson, Devon Kerr do their weekly USL roundup, and they really get some great interviews, lots of fantastic information, well worth listening to. I was just about to say to you, it's about time for subs, and there we are, Nick Moon being one of those available for Nate Miller. There's Philip Inyaka as well, and Thomas Among. I expect to see, if not all three of those, certainly two of them. But more the onus on George Jakai to have a look at his bench, and Dean Goosen, Kuhn Blumstein. Maybe throw them on, because as we've said a few times, and we'll probably mention it again a few times, it's a match Westchester really have to win.
If they don't, it is at least a 7-point gap between themselves and the playoff line that would persist. That gap would grow to 9 points if they lose tonight.
And it's a home match. It's where they have been good. They've got nothing on the road. 16 matches without a win, consecutive games. A little bit of an argument there as to whether it's a foul or not.
That is a free kick nonetheless for Boise. It's Dominic Gasso over it. Floated in, and Marinelli collects. Took a whack in the process.
That's a good catch from the goalkeeper. Very difficult to hold on. When you're going backwards, you're falling backwards, and you're under pressure from attackers. And good pair of hands there from Luca Marinelli.
With the exception of the one spot of bother he navigated himself into, has hardly put a foot wrong. Now here's Diaz for Westchester. Works it wide. Max Jennings joining the attack now. This is something you've been looking for all night for Westchester. And here he is again. McGlynn. Still have yet to see him exert his influence on this.
Needs an injection of life for Westchester, doesn't it? They need to bring on subs, or it does seem that it's going to be Boise who make the first sub.
Well, Nick Moon is getting set to enter. Asking you shall receive, Gary. He's going to come in for Dominic Gasso. In addition to that, Thomas Among also joining the fray. So Among for Keegan Euler and Nick Moon for Dominic Gasso. That's the double swap for Boise at this point, and 2 regular starters now enter the fray.
As we expected, those were some of the changes. It's on the other side that I'm just wondering when George Jakai will make his changes in response to this. You need fresh energy on the pitch if you've got to break down a team, which Boise have already made those changes. Now, I would think in the next 5 minutes or so, George Jakai will respond with his changes.
Has some options on the bench, to your point. The likes of Kuhn Blumstein as well as Dean Guzin. Here's Kostishin, the dangerous number 10 for Boise. His effort deflected out for a corner. So first corner of this second half for AC Boise, and it's presented by Ice Air. Ice Air keeping Westchester cool and comfortable.
And having Thomas Among on the pitch helps Boise. He's big, he's strong. It's an extra body in that box alongside the likes of Jake Dengler and Joshua Yarrow from these set pieces.
Well, Gasso has not left the pitch yet. He's actually getting set to take this corner. So Gasso remains on the field for now. Outswinger to the back post. Headed away by Pierre. As far as Cruel. Now Moon in space. Went for goal, but Marinelli had it covered.
Again, good hands from Marinelli. If he'd have dropped that, there were runners coming in for Boise to finish it off.
So it was Omar Yaya and Keegan Euler who exited. So that means Dominic Gasso remains on the pitch. Our apologies for the confusion. That likely means Among will lead the line as the 9, and it means Moon will play a little further wide. Moon, of course, very experienced during his time with San Diego Loyal, was a mainstay in the lineup under Nate Miller during that 2023 season. Meanwhile, Thomas Among himself, plenty of USL Championship experience, 5 seasons in the championship before making the move to Boise. There's Ricketts. Kostishin. Cleverly done by Gasso. Kostishin clips it in, and it winds up in the back of the net. Well, it runs all the way through, and it's that man again coming back to haunt Westchester and Dennis Kostishin. 1-0 Boise.
They've come out so well in the second half, Boise. A lot more positive on the front foot, causing problems, asking questions. And here's the ball played in. Just takes a little bit of a header there, and Luca Marinelli unable to read the deflection. See that there, the deflection, the goalkeeper's going one way, got to come back the other. It wasn't meant to be a shot from Kostishin, but he'll take it. He'll take the glory, because he's the one who put the ball in, and hopefully the goal goes to him and not an own goal, because it was on its way through and it was on target.
As of now, Kostishin is celebrating. It would be a 6th league goal of the season for him, but it's very possible that winds up being a Bobby Pierre own goal. So we'll see how they ultimately credit it. Either way, 1-0 to Boise inside the final 30 minutes. As of now, they are giving it to Dennis Kostishin. Usually you don't see the away goal scorer get such a favorable outcome from the person scoring the match.
Well, to me, it was on target. The deflection puts the goalkeeper off because Luca Marinelli is going to his left. He's then got to readjust and go to his right, and not easy when all your weight's going one way and you've got to reverse direction. But it was on target, so well done, Dennis Kostashin. 2 goals earlier in the season, 1 today. That's 3 this year against Westchester, one of his favorite teams that he plays against, I would assume.
I was going to say half of his 6 goals this season in league play against Westchester now.
And he is 8th in the USL One for shots taken, 26, so he's not shy about getting efforts on goal.
Jennings now has to arc this in, and if you're Westchester, it might be time to throw caution to the wind, because as you've mentioned, they cannot afford to suffer defeat in a fixture like this.
And interesting, in games in which there's been a 1-goal difference between Westchester and the opposition, they have lost 6 out of 6.
Bauman, can he change that? It's a low cross, falls kindly for Makic, who took a heavy touch. How will Westchester respond? The Golden Apple trailing at home. It's not something we say often about their performance at Memorial Field.
It's a huge 25 minutes plus minus for this team. I think their confidence will take a massive dent if they can't win at home.
Evans' cross to the back post. Evades everyone. Jennings was competing. Well, fans, don't miss when Westchester hosts the Cosmos at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, July 22nd. Tickets are on sale now. WSC will be unveiling a mascot as well as a new 3rd kid. Scan the code so you don't miss the Battle of New York.
Just to give you that stat again of 1-goal matches or separation by 1 goal, Westchester have lost 6 out of 6. Again, it talks to this mental fragility that George Jakai was mentioning away from home. 16 matches now on the road without a win, and yet this match aside, they've been very, very good at home. So there's something about that, and when they go 1-0 down or they're a goal down, a goal behind, they just don't have the ability this season anyway to come back and get a result. 6 losses from 6.
Usually when the goals fly in at home, they tend to fly in en masse, and that's a big part of the reason why that stat exists. But to your point, 1-goal games, they have not won a single one of the previous 6. They would drop to 0-7 in fixtures of that nature if this scoreline holds. They also have not lost a league match at home since the season opener against defending champions One Knox. That was one of those 1-goal deciders. Fell by a 3-2 margin in that one. Diaz, that one runs all the way through to Jennings. Bauman. Makic looking for an angle. McGlynn plays it on. Cut out before he can reach Armas. And Jennings again. Another dipping cross. Cleared only as far as Diaz. Powder has some menace, and Cleaver has to punch. Moon prevents it from going out for a corner.
They really have struggled in front of goals here, Westchester, tonight, and they've scored 23. That's the 3rd highest in the league. You mentioned the point that they do get 5s and 4s when they score a lot, but they do have the talent up front, and they have all season been able to score goals, so maybe there's still hope for Westchester fans. They can get something from this match.
Here's another long throw in. Makic loses out. Moshaban gets his legs in the way. It is a Westchester side that has not struggled for goals this season. You look at the numbers, and they're pretty impressive going forward. With now 23 goals. That's 5th in the league entering the night. The issue has been defensively. They've conceded 22, bulk of which have come away from home. Armas gets it back from McGlynn. Turn from Makic. Armas played it towards Evans, but took a heavy touch off him. Here is Enya for Boise. Now Mo Shaban. Enya. Moon. They rotated off the jump, but now it is a pretty consistent 11 to the one we're used to seeing from Boise, with the exception of no Mayaka right now. Gassel charging ahead. Among on the turn. Kostishin. As of now, his goal is what makes the difference. They've now changed the official scoring, by the way. It has been given as a Bobby Pierre own goal.
So it's a pity for Kostishin. I really don't agree with that. The ball was on target. If it's going wide, then it gets a deflection. I get that, but it looked like it was on target anyway. And Bobby Pierre doesn't want the own goal, and Kostishin wants the goal. So why disappoint both of them?
Lose-lose situation.
Yeah.
Evans, McGlynn, cleared away again.
Coming up to the 70th minute, no changes yet for Westchester. And really feel that it needs a fresh pair of legs, and so you can see there's a change in the bottom there, but that's for Boise. Nothing yet from George Jokai. Just feel that the likes of Guzin and Blumstein must be on that bench, ready and desperate to get on.
McGlynn, that just crept wide of Cleaver's near post. Had him scrambling.
Yeah, it was a deflected effort there that had the goalkeeper going one way and having to come back the other.
It's another corner kick presented by Ice Air. It's taken short. Diaz can't thread it through the thicket of Boise defenders. Now the other direction. Mo Shaban strolling forward for Boise and has Among for company. Mo Shaban continuing on. Crosses it. Among probably should have done better there.
I'm not so sure there's a probably about it. That's an empty goal from Thomas Among. You don't have to hit that first time either. Just control it and put it in an empty net. You're 1-0 up. It's a great ball from Mo Shaban. Great awareness of where Among was. Puts it on a platter for him. Doesn't take the advantage now. If Westchester come back and get something out of this, you would have a look at that and go, hang on a sec, Thomas Among. That's a tap in for you.
Put a pin in that moment. You would have fancied Among to take a chance of that nature. Just one league goal to his name, but given his experience in championship, given the success he enjoyed there, it was something that he usually would convert. Powder. Makic. Well inside the final 20 minutes now. It is just Bobby Pierre's own goal which makes the difference. Initially credited to Kostishin. Has been canceled out after the fact.
Just have a look at this chance. Mo Shaban does brilliant. Now he's under all sorts of pressure, but he's got in his mind a picture of where Thomas Among is. He goes and lays it to him. Now, can Among just not control this? Oh, we don't actually see that moment. Can he not just control it and tap it into the net? Have a look as it comes across. Great play from Mo Shaban. There it is. Can we see Among? Well, he's on his own, and it goes straight to the goalkeeper when he's got a gaping goal.
Oh, in the midst of all of that, Philip Mayaka has entered for Dennis Kostishin. Ricketts also exits. And I believe Joe Hansen is his replacement. Bauman on the underlap. So Hansen and Mayaka in. Kostishin And Ricketts out. Evans has space to shoot. Always rising.
It's been the story of this match when it comes to striking. Been a lot of powerful shots, but the majority have gone over the crossbar and haven't stressed the goalkeepers in any real way.
Meanwhile, Jonathan Cleaver's down for Boise. Westchester readying a double change. So double swap here. It is Tim Tinchenko out for Aiden Bora. Meanwhile, Daniel Burko comes in for Miguel Diaz. That a double change for the Golden Apple as they continue to chase this. And Burko's a proven goal scorer. Double-digit goals a season ago at Hofstra, played a key role in their run to the round of 16 of the NCAA tournament. Meanwhile, Aiden Bora, someone who's worked his way back from early season injury issues, a native of Long Island that George Jokai has real faith in, thinks he can make a real impact as the season progresses. There's the small matter of whether Jonathan Cleaver can go on now for Boise.
Interesting that a centre-back comes on for Tim Tinchenko. I don't know if he's picked up a little knock, but that really doesn't help you going forward. And you've still got two proven goal scorers on the bench in Blumstein and Guzin, so maybe we'll still see them before this match is out.
You'd figure if the current scoreline persists, that would be the case. Well, fans, the USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN+. Go to USLChampionship.com or USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. Final 15 minutes of this one. Sam Goldfarb alongside the former Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey on hand. Lone goal, a Bobby Pierre own goal, separates these two sides. As of now, it would establish Boise comfortably inside the top 8. Westchester would fall 9 points off the pace.
Boise would be joined 4th alongside Fort Wayne and Avialta. 24 points, looking good. Halfway point of the season for Boise after this match. So you would think if this result holds, Nate Miller would be very happy with that position.
Especially because he feels like they still haven't hit their high potential yet. Given the current state of things in the live table, they actually would go to 4th as well, given their advantage over Fort Wayne and Avialta in total wins, if this result holds.
They've got a tough match coming up next against Sac Republic in the USL Cup, so I'm sure they're going to enjoy that one, up against USL Championship opposition. And then Portland Hearts of Pine at home and Cosmos away. Again, games in which they can pick up a lot of points and find themselves climbing even further up the table.
It is a team that has one of the best home field advantages in the league. They broke their own attendance record on June 20th against Union Omaha, a 1-0 victory in which they brought in 7,247 fans. In addition to that, they set a League One single season ticket deposit record with over 6,750 deposits before their first ever home match.
Wow, that's brilliant. Great fan base, and that match, I think we did it together, Boise against Westchester at home, was awesome to be part of and to enjoy the crowd.
Yellow card has been shown here. Appears it's been given to Hansen, the substitute. And he's just penalized for that tackle on Evans.
Yellow card number 17 for Boise, Chad Hansen.
It will be Armas who stands over it. Training ground routine, McGlynn Can't put it on frame though.
Same story as the previous shots from both sides, high and wide in this case. Just not been able to get shots on target and test the goalkeepers, or if they have, it's been a very rare occasion. The majority of shots, 80–90%, have just gone flying over the crossbar.
Some real frustration here for George Jokai. This side has yet to really trouble Jonathan Cleaver. And with the way this is unfolding, they've shown few signs of doing so. Mayaka gives it away to McGlynn. Hansen. Well, fans, enter the Prinks Tires USL Cup Game Day Kit sweepstakes for your chance to win a prize pack worth up to $2,000. Scan the QR code on screen and enter today. There's Kyle Evans for Westchester. Armas. Bauman. Ticking towards the final 10 minutes. Among is looking to wrap it up for Boise.
It's a good play by Among to win that ball, to control it. Unfortunately, they've given it away after some good work to get possession. And with 10 minutes to go, you want to get that possession in the opposition's half of the pitch and just slow the game down, which Thomas Among had managed to do. Unfortunately, possession then given straight back.
So many managers talk about the importance of buying rest on the ball as well. And in Boise's situation, trying to protect a 1-0 lead, that seems to fit this scenario, where they don't want to be chasing it for the entire remainder of it. Armas was looking to switch it. Instead, Krul made himself an obstacle. If this holds, it will be a sour taste in Westchester's mouth heading into their Prinks Cup finale at Hartford, then a return to league play at Omaha on July 18th.
Both those away from home. As we mentioned a few times, it's 16 matches since they managed to win on the road. So that's the problem here. A loss here now to Boise, and then you follow with 2 away matches, which difficult to pick up points from. By the time they get Cosmos at home, which is the match after Omaha away, Union Omaha, they could be even further off a playoff spot, and then it becomes very, very difficult to make up a large amount of ground. You'd almost have to go on a winning streak of sort of 8 wins out of 11 games if you're going to start making up that amount of ground.
And not to mention, Union Omaha is top of the table right now, so that adds further intimidation to a road tussle in the gateway to the West. The feeling that these 9 minutes could go a long way to defining how Westchester closes this season out. Feels rather premature to be saying that in early July, but given our conversation with George Jokai and the urgency that he mentioned he wanted to come into this fixture with, it does seem apt.
Yeah, it's a huge battle for George Jokai. This away form has made life so difficult for Westchester, and well, we seem to be getting some changes now that might make a difference, Guzan being one of them.
Well, you were calling on him to feature, and now he will. He'll come in for Erman Makic, and that likely means Daniel Burko will move into a center forward role. So Makic out for Guzan. Guzan's someone who has enjoyed moments of success on this ground. He's best known for that brace against Sarasota in early April. Has seen his influence wane though since. Among went for goal, and it was always knuckling the wrong way. Well, fans, the best way to spend a summer night is watching your local team with your favorite people. Check out Westchester SC's group ticket offerings, especially if you haven't experienced the new VIP area. Closing stages of this one. Westchester still chasing, looking to salvage something. Borup. Overhit it for Armas.
It's so interesting that Westchester, one of the top scorers in the entire division, but we've hardly seen anything in terms of what they can do up front. They haven't had many shots on target. They haven't created good chances. They just really have battled to sparkle in front of goals, which, as I say, given their successes this season, is a real surprise. They have one shot on target this entire match so far.
They've done it from 11 shots, but they have won a free kick here, as Evans was clattered down on the edge of the penalty area. Maybe this is a chance for Connor McGlynn to test Jonathan Cleaver.
Yeah, I'm not so sure how much there was, but Kyle Evans winning it, and he'll take that free kick. A little bit of light there for Westchester. Expected goals so far, 0.46, not much on home ground, where they've scored 5 and 4 goals in their last 2 home games. So, to your point, can they do something special here now?
It is McGlynn and Armas in the immediate vicinity. Would fancy McGlynn to have a pop here, especially given his knack for a spectacular. Although he will vacate for Alexi Armas. It's Armas who goes for goal. Can't put it on frame, and it was always rising.
You can add that to another one over the crossbar. I think it's getting very close to 10 shots that have, from both sides combined, that have just not hit the target. And to be fair, neither goalkeeper, especially Jonathan Cleaver, he's had hardly anything to do because all those shots are going over the crossbar. Get over it, keep it down, bounce it into the turf, follow it up, put the goalkeeper under some pressure. And that applies equally on the other side. Luca Marinelli's watched a whole bunch fly over his crossbar as well.
It goes back to the point that Nate Miller was discussing with us this week. He said in matches like this, where we're not being as clinical as we need to be, or chances aren't flowing thick and fast, we just need to become a clean sheet team. As a yellow card there was shown to Max Jennings. This feels like a match that fits that description. Chances had a premium, but Boise got their goal and now just trying to protect things.
Yeah, perhaps a lucky goal, deflected. Was worth the effort though, coming from Kostashin, but they have had a touch of luck, and exactly as the coach says, on your lucky days when you get a goal like that, if you keep a clean sheet, you walk away with all 3 points.
And in the long run, when people reflect on the history of this match, they won't care that maybe it was a less than aesthetically pleasing affair.
I don't think either side will leave this thinking that they've played superbly well, but from Boise's point of view, they've come to an away ground, they've done a job, they've shut the home side down, they've got their goal. As you say, a little bit lucky perhaps, and Nate Miller will know that, but nonetheless, you've done a job in restricting Westchester to very, very few shots and only 1 on target. I think that's good defense.
There's a player down now for Boise. Well, he's definitely deep in thought right now, George Jokai. It has not been the dream performance by any means, and some of that Chattanooga match Wednesday potentially has made its way over to this one. He's immediately calling Koen Blumstein off the bench, hoping for a response from his Dutch forward. Mayaka. Moon. A second at this point would all but kill it off. And Mayaka going for that. Didn't miss by that much. We're hearing word that as of now, Blumstein will replace Max Jennings in a clear attack-minded swap, a true number 9 for a wingback. He's launched forward towards Among, who heads it on to Moshaban. Pierre fouled him. Just outside the penalty area, and a yellow card is shown.
That's such good play by Boise, by Mung in particular, fighting with the center backs, wins the ball, gets it to Moshaban. He then wins the free kick, gets to the ball first, goes down, slows the whole game down. You get a free kick, you move bodies forward, the clock is working its way down. And for me, Thomas Amung has made such a big difference as a target man since he came on for Boise.
Now the sub will take place. When Blumstein is in, he replaces Max Jennings. I don't think Boise will be in any rush to take this ensuing free kick. Blumstein himself is someone they're glad to see fit. A true 9 for Westchester. Someone who's played at a pretty high level outside of the United States, most recently playing for Volendam in the Netherlands. First thing he'll do is watch this set piece being taken. It's driven goalward. It just missed. Final minute of the initial 90. All eyes on our fourth official in a matter of moments. Hearing word that it's going to be a hefty amount of stoppage time. Our stoppage time is presented by Mar & Mar. 6 minutes that separate us from full time now. And yeah, Moshaban. This is Thomas Among looking to wrap it up. Didn't play it great. Now Evans for Westchester. Armas. Time rapidly waning on the Golden Apple now. Guzin linking with Blumstein, and it's given away, but the whistle sounds against Gasso.
Guzin just blocked there, obstructed, and the ball coming back from Blumstein. He wasn't able to get to it. Just wondering with Blumstein coming on with literally a couple of minutes left, doesn't give him much time to impact the game. Maybe he's on limited minutes.
Armas's cross in. He nearly found Blumstein there.
No, that's the effect he can have, and that's why you wonder why he doesn't come on sort of 15, 20 minutes from time, get some high balls into the tall man. But again, we don't know what injuries he might have picked up or whether he's been offered some time to rest and recover, and so only the coaches know exactly the minutes that the players should and could play.
Blumstein was limited to just 10 appearances due to a number of nagging injuries a year ago, and it still feels like he's working his way entirely back to full fitness. He's only started just 3 league matches since returning from that injury around April. Powder. Borab. It's turned over again, and Moshaban in space. Moshaban turning on the afterburners. He lays it off, a cross in. It ran all the way across the face of goal. Not a bad ball there from Gasso.
That's a good effort from Boise, just for Westchester. Get the ball out the other end of the park. You need to score twice. I mean, once only gets you a point. You need to score twice in 4 minutes, and they were playing the ball around the back. Just be direct. There you go. Win a free kick. Get the ball in the box. There's a chance you could score. You're not going to score playing it around the back. So a little bit of frustration there, I'm sure, from the Westchester fans who are trying to see their team get forward and hopefully snatch an equalizer in these dying moments.
Just from watching this, if you didn't know the score, you'd think Westchester was the team leading 1-0.
That's what I'm saying. There's no urgency. And given the fact that they need the points so desperately, you'd think they'd be bombing everything into the box. Now they get a bit of urgency.
He run down at the midway point of the added 6. Alexi Armas getting set for this long throw. It's into the mix again. Guzin tracks it down. Yaro's there. A chance here. And Cleaver gets in the way.
Good punch from Jonathan Cleaver there. That was so important. There were 3 Westchester players, I think it was, all lining up for the header. The goalkeeper comes out bravely, punches it, and probably takes a hit in the process.
Maybe a punch that saves multiple points as well.
Look, 3 blue shirts there and a couple of defenders. In comes the goalkeeper. Blumstein takes the whack. And already Blumstein's only been on a couple of minutes and he's impacted on this game in a very positive way.
Armas. He arcs this goalward, and that's more comfortable for Cleaver.
Free kick given against a little bit of hands on the goalkeeper, not much, but Cleaver doing the clever thing. Feels the touch, goes down, wins the free kick, takes some money off the clock, takes away all the momentum that Westchester has, and goalkeepers have not had much to do, but in these last few minutes he's earned his keep, and criticized in the last match for coming for a cross, dropping it, and that was the equalizer by 1 Knoxville. Today he's been really solid in the air.
It is a redemption performance from Cleaver tonight. Not thrust into action too frequently, but definitely a performance that's featured no errors to date. Seemed to be a little more confident in his decision making as well. Mayaka. Moon. Mosheban pressing, Gasso's in, but the whistle sounds. Final minute of the added 6. McGlynn, this is one of the last gasps for Westchester, and Cleaver extinguishes it. Moon. Full-time whistle sounds. It is a disappointing night in Westchester for the home fans. They fall on a Bobby Pierre own goal as Boise surges into the top 4.
Yeah, very good performance on the road by Boise. Nate Miller will be very happy with that. Professional, did all the right things. Yeah, a little bit lucky with the goal, but they were on the front foot more often than the home side. For Westchester, huge disappointment. Given how bad their road form is, they needed this win at home, and now it's going to take something special from this group of players to turn their season around.
It is now a 9-point gap between Westchester and the playoff line. A brutal defeat at home. We'll take a quick breather here from Westchester County when we return to look back at the 90 minutes that was here in Mount Vernon. Stick with us.
Eligible for Medicare? Here's a great new reason to be happy. You may qualify for money-saving programs that could lower your Medicare costs. Just talk to a Health First specialist about programs like Extra Help, Epic, and more. To learn how New Yorkers like you can save, call 1-844-434-6399. Health First Medicare Advantage Plans, where healthy starts.
Come on, get happy.
Raising health means elevating the care that we can get in our backyard. The Westchester Soccer Club is part of the United Soccer League that has now expanded into Westchester.
It's a brand new USL One team competing all across the country, bringing the love for the sport of soccer to the area.
Northville is going to provide them the best care possible, going to the games, making sure that we're on site for each home game. If an injury pops up, we get those players in immediately.
The partnership between the Westchester Soccer Club and Northwell Health is very exciting.
Northwell's vision is to raise health. So we offer the full gamut of orthopedic services, serving the community in Westchester. That's where my family lives, that's where I live, and that's my purpose here.
We welcome you back to Westchester County, where it is a disappointing night for the Golden Apple. They fall by a 1-0 scoreline against AC Boise and fall 9 points shy of the top 8. Now it's time to get a look back at our full-time highlights. And Gary, a cagey affair. Boise had the better of the chances, though, and they finally broke through just after the hour mark.
Early on here, this ball comes in, and big Jake Dengler just hooks that ball over the top. Not a bad effort from a big center half.
Then later on, you saw Westchester start to generate some opportunities through the counter press. That's their best chance through Max Jennings.
It's got to hit target from there. It was a game in which so many shots from both sides, but mostly Westchester's, they went flying over the crossbar time and time again.
3 minutes later, chaos in the penalty area, and Marinelli's gamble paid off.
Yeah, brave from the goalkeeper. Not sure it was his ball to come for. Once he's come, he's made himself big and strong, taken the hit, and blocked the shot.
And then this, the glaring chance of the first half. How about this from Gasso?
Brilliant strike. Takes a deflection on the way, and then it just dips down, and it's very close to just getting under that crossbar.
On 52 minutes, you begin to see Boise take the match over, and from there, they never really relinquished control.
Omar Yaya there had a shot, and again over the crossbar. Feature of this game from a good position.
And then from there, finally the opener and the winner. Credited as an own goal, but Kostashin creates the danger.
He puts the ball, he's putting the ball into a dangerous area for one of his players, and instead it comes off the head of Bobby Pierre. It was on target anyway, but it's been given as an own goal. Kostashin wishes it would have gone to him instead.
You look at the full-time stats, and Westchester more of the ball, but every other stat pretty much favors Boise.
Yeah, Boise looked the better side, they looked the more control side, they had more shots on target. Look at that, you're at home Westchester, you have one shot on target, and that's for a team that's been brilliant at home. So I don't know what didn't click for them tonight. Obviously that's the big challenge for George Jakai to try and figure out, but they need to do it soon. Both him and his players need to turn this around, otherwise it's going to be a tough season ahead.
It's one shot on goal for the second consecutive week for Westchester, and another disappointing display. Well, that is where we will leave everything from Mount Vernon. Westchester falling by a 1-0 margin, courtesy of the Bobby Pierre own goal just after the hour mark. For our terrific crew and my broadcast partner, Gary Bailey, I'm Sam Goldfarb saying so long from Westchester, where it finishes Boise 1, Westchester 0. Have a great rest of your night, everyone. From Mount Vernon, signing off.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.